Was that creepy? What's up, guys? This is a little mini episode of the Hollywood Happy Hour podcast. It's like a Hollywood Happy half hour of the podcast. I just wanted to check in and chit-chat solo today, so it's going to be super short, but I just wanted to pop in and just talk a little bit about what's upcoming. So now that I'm taking the podcast a lot more seriously, because I think I talked a little bit about sort of the trajectory of how this all went down, which is pretty silly pants for me, but also kind of just my MO, which was, here's how the whole thing happened. I started this podcast in like 2015. It was me and Zedric. We were sitting around with nothing to do, and we recorded a couple episodes, and then I posted them up to SoundCloud, took the SoundCloud RSS feed, shot it over to iTunes, and those 2 episodes went live. It was very exciting. And then I recorded my 3rd episode with Jason Matlock right after that, one of my dear friends and business partners. We went to put that up on SoundCloud and realized we would have to pay money to upload more than 2 episodes. And it sounds like I'm digging at SoundCloud. I'm not. It's business. They got to make their money, and they provide a pretty darn good service. I sound like I'm being paid to plug them. I'm not. It's just they are the ones I went with, and it is what it is. So, but the thing is here comes the insult to SoundCloud, because they wanted me to pay extra. I didn't do it. They didn't want me to pay extra. They just wanted me to pay their fee to host my information, my podcast. And I didn't want to do it because I was like, I don't know if I want to do a podcast. Am I one of these guys? It turns out I am. Because what happened was I started uploading them to Mixcloud, which is like SoundCloud, but totally not. They don't give you an RSS feed at all, which means you can't put them on iTunes. But I kept uploading them there, and then I would also upload them to YouTube, giving it like the least amount of views and listens possible. Just trying my hardest not to be successful. And sure enough, I succeeded in it not being successful. But then I racked up like 9 episodes, and I realized that, hey, I guess I enjoy doing this. I like talking with people. I like to interview people. I get something out of it because I learn from the people I'm talking to. And these people that I have been talking to thus far are friends of mine, close friends. Jason's done like 3 episodes. Which he's sort of become like an honorary co-host at this point. But now here we are. I'm actually, decided to stop being a cheapskate and start paying SoundCloud to let me put episodes up. And got it on the iTunes and been plugging it around my social medias and stuff like that, and reaching out to people, asking them to come on over and let me record their voices and let me ask them silly questions. And so, I'm really excited. I've got a few on the books so far, and I keep sending out emails asking for favors, as you do. And I'm excited because, I'm booking people that aren't famous, some that have done some work that you've seen, some that I'll be interviewing some artist friends of mine that are actually just getting started in the business, which I think is a great opportunity for them, obviously, but also for me and for certain listeners that like the newer acting folk that are listening to this podcast, because I'm sure I'm attracting a lot of, actors that are just getting started. And so to hear what I'm going to say to these new actors that come on the podcast to talk about the acting craft and the business and all that stuff with me, that will be a learning experience. And then also what I get out of it is I get to sort of relive what it's like to be a brand spanking new actor with bright eyes and big dreams in the big old city, just like I was, those 7+ years back. And I'm still a baby. I really am. Look, I'm only just now getting certain things going. It takes a long time to really cement yourself and give, and get the opportunities and create and create and create and figure out what you want to do and what your brand is. I'm still figuring out what this show is, just this show alone, right? And then also, like, you know, with my particular acting career, you know, it's still generating, it's still building, it's still in its, like, you know, toddler stages of figuring out which way it's going to go, and, you know, casting directors figuring out what they want to do with me in this town, figuring out, you know, where do I fit into the town, right? And so the great thing that I appreciate is that I do have the ability to record podcasts and make videos and upload them to YouTube and go out and do stand-up and do theater. I really enjoy that side of it. Obviously, I want to be the big smash success that makes all the big dollar bills, but I don't expect that to happen overnight. I expect it to happen in like 3 nights. Just kidding. But so, you know, this podcast has been very, very good for me. I'm very excited and happy sort of with, you know, what it is, what it's becoming, and I'm really excited about the upcoming guests we are booking. And I think as it goes forward, you know, we're going to be talking to people, we, as in me, are going to be talking to people that aren't actors, you know, people that are in show business that don't work as actors. Like, I want to interview managers and agents and casting directors and directors and editors and musicians and all kinds of people. I don't just want it to be one thing. I know it's called like Hollywood Happy Hour, and originally it started out as like me talking to actors and, you know, just sort of doing the cradle to present long form interview kind of thing, which is super fun. You know, like I don't mind it at all, but I'm also liking sort of the looseness that it's coming on to. It's sort of turning into almost a radio show in a way, like just sort of doing what comes to mind. I like not having pressure. I've pressured myself enough. It's time to just have some fun. I will be recording an episode with a buddy of mine, Stephen Cole. He's from the same town I'm from, South Bend, Indiana, and he came out to good old California to be an actor, you know. And we'll be talking about his progress so far, because he's still fairly new here, and what he wants to do, and we'll talk about South Bend, and I think it's probably going to get a little political. It's going to get a little bit about talking about our alma mater of Indiana University, South Bend. It'll be talking about a lot of things. Probably a lot of Notre Dame talk. Love me some Notre Dame. You know, there's a lot going on and a lot to talk about. So I'll be talking to him, another actor buddy of mine who is also newer in the game, but in a completely different way than Stephen Cole is. This actor's name is Stephen Vogel. I'll be having him on whenever I can track him down. No, I'm just kidding. He'll be on shortly. And then also another newer actor. See, I've got like these 3 new actors, and I want to give them the opportunity to come on the podcast, get a little bit of exposure, and talk to me about being actors. But I don't know if I'm going to release all 3 of those like back to back to back, or if I'm going to sprinkle in some other stuff, because I do have some really fun guests. Not that the first 3 people I said aren't fun, but guests that I'll be honest, not only is it going to be fun to have them on, I'm intimidated that I even asked them to be on the podcast, and that's the truth. So, you know, we'll see what happens. That was stressful. It was stressful just thinking about it. What else is going on with me? You know, I don't know. I'm working at the Noise Within Theater, helping out over there, enjoying that, making the podcast, doing some editing. I got some videos that I'm going to be releasing soon-ish. As soon as I get them done. I'm trying to get them done in a timely manner. I'm really excited about one of them. So I'm getting married, right? I'm getting married September 30th to Miss Shannon Bachnight, who was episode 9, the episode right before this one. And we did this drunk history video, and I'm in the midst of editing the hardest part of it, which is the part where we're both looking in the camera telling the story in a silly, drunken manner. Very hard to tighten it up and make it make sense, but it's really fun. It's coming together really well. Also got a few other things in post, a couple other vlog episodes that I want to release, because I got a really good bunch of emails from people that really appreciate these videos. I want to do more actual acting. This isn't acting. This is hosting. The vlogging is hosting. I want to act soon, but I feel there is an importance to me doing the podcast and also getting these vlogs out because they help other actors. That's all I really care about is, helping people. I want to feel like not only do I have a purpose as an entertainer, but a purpose as a mentor to people because I'm not the most successful actor in the world. I'm not stupid enough to think that. However, what I am smart enough to know is that I have gained quite a bit of experience through all my mistakes, and I can share that information with people, not only to their face, but on a microphone to other people. So I'm excited to release those, and after the wedding, I'm going to be excited to get into a play. I want to do a play, and I'm just continuing the old stand-up, enjoying it, writing some new bits, getting them out there, and working them out on the stage. So staying busy as usual, and just trying to survive this political climate. You guys having fun with that? Are you? Because it's crazy. It's crazy times, people. And John McCain passed away. That was super sad. And then Neil Simon right after that. John McCain was 81. Neil Simon was 91. Interesting. They were 10 years apart and died one day apart. Two important people. Neil Simon, arguably the greatest comedic playwright in American history. And John McCain. I'm not Republican, but I do respect the man. I was talking about him today and about the idea of how important timing is. And every time it was time for him to step up, he did, right on cue. And I think that's a lesson we can all learn because that's what makes a great human being, a great American, a great politician, a great whatever. It's all about your timing. So, lost two good souls, but I think, it's easy to get down and feel like, oh, we're losing a little bit of hope. But I think what we have to remember is that with them stepping down from their positions it's a weird thing to say, but I try to look at it from a hopeful standpoint of it just means that other people that have been sitting dormant, lying dormant, and haven't been making their voices heard, they should step up into those roles and try to fill the void that has been left behind by the great people that we keep losing. And they say it always happens in threes. That was two. Who's going to be our third? It's a very frightening, paranoid idea. But yeah, we just have to keep filling in those gaps and keep stepping up and expecting more of ourselves and trying harder and trying to be a better person and be a better community and a better country. This isn't a political podcast. I'm not sure what I'm talking about that for. You know what? I don't care. This podcast has no classification. It's a show where I talk about stuff. That's how I'm going to pitch it. That'll go really far in a meeting. What's your podcast about? Stuff. Like Jerry Seinfeld? No, not at all. I don't know. Anyway, here's what I'll leave you with. I was on Twitter. I've been on fire on Twitter. Not really. But I try to. I've been trying to do the Twitter thing. But I had two really fun interactions. One with Dax Shepard, who is one of the reasons I decided to really get this podcast going, because I love Armchair Expert. Let me just talk about podcasts for a second. Obviously, I'm doing one. I must like them if I'm crazy enough to try doing one. I made a blog a while ago of my favorite podcasts. I'm sure listeners will be like, oh, he's ripping off Marin there. Always, there he goes, ripping off Sam Jones, or there he goes, ripping off, who else do I like? I love Sam Jones. Obviously, like I said, I love Dax. So anyway, I tweeted Dax saying, thanks for being awesome. And he tweeted back as the kind gentleman that he is, and he spelled my name Stephan, which he did apologize for. But my little zinger back to him was no problem Dex, Dex, which, saying it out loud, it's not funny. But in the Twitter universe, I thought it was pretty funny. And then last night, me and Shannon went out. We saw Middleditch and Schwartz over at the Largo Theater. They do this improv show. It was fantastic. They were so funny. It was completely freeform. They do a quick intro, then they go right into it from one audience suggestion and just go. And it's just the two of them, and they switch characters. I think they built up to like 4 characters, but they would play each other's character. They would move around, and I don't want to ruin it. You should go see it. If you're in LA and you can get tickets to them, go see them. And the Largo, I had never been there. Super cool theater. I know Pete Holmes. Oh, I love Pete Holmes. He's got a great podcast. He plays at the Largo all the time. Patton plays at the Largo. Silverman. All these great comedians that I look up to. I think I'm going to start going there more. I think it was a pretty cool theater. And anyway, so Middleditch and Schwartz. They had this great bit, and I tweeted at Ben Schwartz, look how much of a fanboy I am. I don't even have any bit of shame about it. I tweeted at Ben Schwartz, and he tweeted me back. Got 2 tweet backs. Made me feel good. Almost like if people didn't know better, they would almost think that I was on the inside of the old Hollywood A-list. Not the case. But I enjoy being on the outskirts of it all and being a fanboy still, because it's fun being a fanboy. I enjoy it. I enjoy being a fan of comedy and being a comedy geek and loving the movies still, like the movies. I still call it the movies, right? So that's super fun. But I've been having fun, I've been like putting less pressure on myself. And in doing that, I find that I'm more productive. And I'm also having more fun. Did I just say that twice? It doesn't matter, see? But yeah. So yeah, I've been having fun and just making stuff, and getting ready for this wedding and editing and trying to be creative and really enjoying myself. And I hope you guys have too. And I wanted to say I appreciate all of you guys listening. And this little mini-sode was just a little something while I get more guests coming up and hanging out with me and doing some recording on the Hollywood Happy Hour podcast. Probably going to bring back the questionnaire, the Bernard Pivot questionnaire that I ripped off from the Actors Studio. I'm just going to make this the biggest rip-off podcast you ever seen, because I don't give a shit. I don't, because I want to have fun and live out my little fantasies in my fantasy brain. I'm probably going to bring back the cocktail of the episode. Also, friends of mine, I don't know what I was going to say. Friends of mine are doing a podcast that I'm going to be a guest on. It's called Drunk Poet Society, and they, too, do the cocktail of the episode. But theirs is the Drunk Poet Society, which is a book club that they do via podcast. But they do it completely in jest, super fun, have different segments within the show, bring on different guests, and they begged me and begged me and begged me to plug them on my podcast, and begged me and begged me and begged me to be a guest. And I said maybe, and here I am plugging them. So, no, but I'm going to do it. My episode is going to be with The Handmaid's Tale. I still haven't seen the TV show or the miniseries. Want to see it, but I'm going to do something I've never done in my entire life. I am going to read the book before I do the episode. Or no, I'm sorry. I hope so. I hope I read the book before I go on their podcast and blather on like an idiot, like I'm doing now. No, I'm going to read the book. I've never read a book of the thing before I watched it, but I'm not going to watch the series before I read the book. I am debating if I'm going to watch the series before I do their podcast and talk about it, because it is a book club, not a book/TV club. but I might anyway, just so I have a little bit extra to say. And also, they're going to let me create the cocktail of the episode, so I can't wait to record that with them. I think they're kicking their podcast off pretty soon, so look out for that. I'm sure I'll be posting about it on the social medias and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that pretty much does it. So I'm going to go and keep making stuff, and I hope you do too. And if you're not an artiste, you are an artist in whatever job you choose to do. So bring your inner art out of you. Make your craft the best it can be, whatever you do. If you make houses, make those houses better. If you are a teacher, teach better. Be the teacher that changes a life. If you're an actor, be a better actor, because, you can be. You could be better. If you're a comedian, be funnier, okay? I know a lot of you are saying that about me, and that's fine. It's fine. I'm working on it. Working on the funny. Trying to bring the funny. Trying to bring the ha-has. Trying to bring the belly chuckles. So, be the best you can be. Have a good rest of your week. Happy Monday to you. Monday evening. If you're on the East Coast, you're probably not hearing this till Tuesday. That's my B. That's my B right there. That's my B for posting late and then talking about Monday like it still was. But you know what? Let's let you pretend you're back in Manic Monday and enjoy the podcast. Okay? All right. Talk to you guys soon. Later.